What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Maths Guy. Today we are looking at how to work out the area of a circle when we are given the radius. Okay, so the first thing we need to understand is what is the radius? Well, the radius of a circle is the measurement from the center point to the circumference. The circumference being the measurement around the outside or the edge of the circle. And this radius, this measurement, is going to be very handy to work out the area. Why is that? Well, because the area formula is this formula right here, and the formula is pi r squared. So let's take a moment to understand what these little parts mean. Well, pi stands for the relationship between the circumference of a circle, the measurement around the outside, and the diameter, the measurement from one edge to the other. And there are a million videos out there that could help you understand exactly where pi comes from and where that measurement is calculated. We're not going to focus on that today. We are simply going to understand that pi is a value that we're going to use as part of our formula. And we have two options when we use pi. We can either use the pi button on our calculator, which will simply look like this, or we can use the abbreviated form of 3.14 if we don't have a calculator. And 3.14 is pi to 2 decimal places, which is the accepted abbreviation of pi, because pi, if we were to look at it, actually would go on for loads and loads and loads of decimal places. So the abbreviated version is 3.14. And then the second part of our formula is radius. So we need to know the radius of our circle in order to work out the area. And the last part is squared. And the interesting thing about the squared is that the squared is connected to the radius, not the pi radius. We'll understand more about that in a moment. So let's begin with question 1. In question 1, we can clearly see that our radius is 42 centimeters. And whenever I'm working out something with a formula, I like to start by putting the formula first. So I'm going to start with pi r squared. Now I'm going to input whatever I know, and I know the radius. So now I can put pi times radius, which is 42, squared. And now I'm going to simply input this into my calculator. But hold up, because there's a very important way we should enter this. If we were to enter pi times 42, get our answer, and then square it, we would end up with the wrong answer, because remember, the squared is only connected to the 42. So we have two options. I can either square 42 first, and the answer to 42 squared is 1764. And then I can multiply it by pi, giving me an answer of 5541.8. Or if I wanted to be super slick with my calculator, what I could press is pi times 42. But before I press the equals button, I would press the squared button, which is the x with the little 2 hovering next to it to show that it's squared. And that would give me the same answer. But what I'll say again is what we can't press is pi times 42 equals and then square. That's really important. Check it out for yourself to see the difference of answers. Okay, so we got our first answer, 5541.8 centimeters squared. Because what this answer is telling us is that we would need 5541.8 square centimeters that would cover this circle. Okay, awesome. Let's move on to question 2. Question 2 has a radius of 12 centimeters. So again, let's start with pi r squared. And I can now put in my radius, which is 12. So I'm going to put pi times 12 squared. So again, I can do it both ways. I can do 12 squared, which is 144, and then multiply that by pi, which gives me an answer of 452.4. Don't forget my units. Centimeters squared. Okay, question 3. Question 3 has a radius of 9 centimeters. So we'd start with pi r squared, and then I've got pi times 9 squared. This time on the calculator, I'm going to try and do it all in the same sequence. So now I have to type pi times 9, but before I press my equals, I'll press the squared button. Now I can press equals, and it gives me an answer of 254.5 centimeters squared. Last but not least, I have this fourth. Hopefully you can see something different with our fourth example. We can see that we are not given the radius, we are actually given the diameter, the measurement from one edge to the other, or the mathematical way of saying it, the shortest chord across my circle, cutting right through the middle. And we can see that this diameter is 15 centimeters. Well, what do we know about diameters and radius? Well, the radius is exactly half of the diameter. So therefore my radius, measuring from the center point to the outside, would be 7.5, just half of the diameter. Now I can begin. Pi r squared, so therefore pi times 7.5 squared. I'm going to do it all in the same motion again. So pi times 7.5 squared is 176.7 centimeters squared. Awesome, and there we go. Let's look at what to remember. We can calculate the area of any circle if we have either the radius or the diameter. The radius we can do straight away, but the diameter we must cut in half to give us the radius. The formula for area is pi r squared, and remembering that pi is the ratio between the circumference and the diameter. Okay, here's 4 questions for you to have a little go at. Try and work out the answers to these questions. Put the answers into the comment section. I'm going to try and mark them all. Press pause on the video now. And there we go. Hopefully this video has been helpful for you. If it has, think about subscribing to the channel. We make daily maths videos to help you with everything you would ever need to know about maths. Thanks very much for watching, but for now, peace out.